Well, this attack has further raised concerns about the security of rental vehicles and how they're used. Obviously, they can be used as a weapon. For more on that, let's go to Stephen Cohen, Communications Director of the Counter-Extremism Project. He joins us from Bethesda, Maryland. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
We are seeing this and have been seeing this now all over the world. People taking trucks, vans, using them as weapons on the road. Many people we've talked to say, look, there's not much that can be done about this to stop this. Do you agree?
Well, there are things that are being done both by law enforcement and by the rental companies themselves. You're absolutely right, though. We're seeing more instances like this, we believe. Our organization, the Counter-Extremism Project, has documented at least 36 vehicular terrorist attacks since 2006, and that has resulted in the deaths of 196 people and more than 1,000 injuries. So the success of this by terrorists has then led to the increase in incidences of this as supporters of terrorism and others take these kinds of vehicles and use them in a way that may have been different than what happened in Toronto, but they're using them in ways because it's been successful for them in a way to spread their ideology. And it's also very hard to detect. But companies are doing more, police are doing more, and it's not surprising that they don't want to share exactly what they're doing, because obviously terrorists and other people who want to do harm to innocent civilians are then going to update or change their tactics accordingly.
It's fairly easy to rent a vehicle if you're of age, and in some situations we know these people don't have necessarily any criminal records. Do rental vehicles need to change the process? Do they need to do more of a background check, more digging than just looking for a license?
Yes, and I think some of that is taking place, but also there have been instances where after the fact, people who are close to individuals who take this kind of action, whether they be citizens with a grievance of some sort or terrorists, would come forward and say and talk about the fact that they may have had information about the person, the kinds of online posting that they've been doing, the kinds of people that they've been in contact with, and after the fact, in hindsight, they're seeing evidence of radicalization, they're seeing evidence of a troubled behavior, and they wish that they had taken action sooner.
When we talk about telling authorities when you see that kind of behavior, what are people looking for? I mean, if you have a neighbor, if you have a cousin, if you have a brother or an aunt that you think is acting differently or behaving differently, what are the indications that should be enough for you to go to police?
Well, it's a very difficult balance, obviously, and people want to respect people's privacy, but in this, for example, in this case of Toronto, there have been reports that this individual had been a part of a Facebook group and had made some very had said things on Facebook that were indicators of a kind of a radicalization, anger, being upset by situations in his life. You know, in terms of online activity, we've seen in terms of the terrorist groups that you've had people that have been very encouraging in trying to get people to take these kinds of actions. And so you've had ISIS, you've had Al-Qaeda, Hamas that have been encouraging these types of attacks and then celebrating these types of attacks as ways to both encourage others to carry out the same types of killings, but to use that as a recruitment tool to further their ideology, which includes killing Westerners.
Stephen Cohen, I've got to leave it there. I appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks for having me.